Hey folks, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about 3 things that I believe junior designers should not care about when looking for the right job for them. And honestly, these 3 things are things I wish I heard when I was trying to start out in design several years ago. I think it would have made my time a little bit less stressful and made that transition maybe just a little bit easier. So number 1 is the 1 to 3 years of experience. If you are a junior designer right now looking for a job, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you are thinking about design or gonna apply to jobs soon, you're definitely gonna run into this. So most junior design job postings require that you have 1 to 3 years of experience. So what do? My advice typically is just to ignore it. When hiring managers put that 1 to 3 years of experience on that job posting, it's really more of a proxy of how long you've been exposed to working in tech or some sort of commercial setting. It's a little less about your abilities as a designer. Any reasonable hiring manager will really treat it more like a guideline or a guardrail. For example, when I was hiring, we've interviewed someone from like a major company who's been working for about 5 years and great experience, but seemed to be more of a specialist because in that large company, they were doing a very particular type of design for a long period of time. In some ways, maybe even less seasoned because they just didn't have that broad skill set or that chance to like do a lot of different things versus someone who we interviewed who had maybe like 1 to 2 years of experience, but worked at a startup and had a chance to do all sorts of things. They had a lot of chance to make mistakes, learn and grow. Ultimately, we ended up going with the person who came from the startup. Of course, do your research. This doesn't mean that now you just go and apply everywhere. Make sure you like the company, like the people, like the projects, but feel free to ignore that 1 to 3 years of experience just to make sure that you give yourself a chance. Number 2 on the list is the perfect portfolio. Look, hiring managers and recruiters are flooded with applicants all the time. They really don't have time to pour through your portfolio. I know this may be harsh, but I just think it's reality. I mean, if I really were to be generous, they may spend like 10 minutes if they really see something they really like. But generally, I would say maybe like 2 to 3 minutes on a portfolio and resume. So look, I'm not saying now that you should put in a minimal amount of effort and expect to get away with it. It should still have all the key components. It should be packaged up well. It should look good. And your portfolio should be UX for the audience that you're targeting. But what I am saying is just don't obsess over trying to perfect it, whatever perfecting it means. Over time, if you keep working on your portfolio, it naturally will just get better. That's the most important part. Now, in the beginning, instead of focusing on perfecting that portfolio or having that mentality about it, I think you should focus on making a statement, trying to be memorable with your portfolio, and really focusing on what makes you different from other designers. So as an example, when I was applying to trying to get my first design job, there was one piece of a particular case study that hiring managers seemed to zero in on. What they really cared about was the fact that I used an array of scientific studies and different books to justify some of my design decisions, and I credit that particular piece of the case study in helping me get my first job. So let me leave you with a practical thing that you can try to do. So get your friends, family, other designers in your network and ask them to look at your portfolio for 2 to 3 minutes. And after that, write down their impressions of that portfolio and size it up with, is that the way you want to portray yourself as a designer? Another thing you can do is go on LinkedIn, check out different company sites or check out, designers that you look up to and do the same thing on their portfolio if it's available. Look at it for 2 to 3 minutes, scan it, write down your impressions and see how that sizes up with your portfolio. So number 3 on the list is the design process. I bet you didn't think I was going to say that. But yeah, the design process. And here's why. UX designers and product designers are all taught that 5-step process, that linear process from empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. Everyone knows it. So when you're interviewing and that design process question comes up, or you're about to give a presentation where you're walking everyone through your process, just remember that they're not testing to see if you know the process. So it's not sufficient for you to just talk about what you did. They want to know if you could think critically about a problem and have the ability to take that design process and use it to solve that problem. So it's extremely important that you talk about why you did certain things and how that led to a certain outcome. I'm planning to do a whole new video about whiteboard challenges, design process, and how you might want to go about it. But I'll just take a small snippet of that and share a framework with you that really works well for me. So I think whenever the design process question comes up, it's really helpful to think about this as a question and answer. Here's what I mean. For any design project, there's things you know, don't know, and think you know that you really should validate. So the first thing that I advise people to do is write down everything that you don't know about the project that you probably should know. And then the process of you answering those questions is your design process. You just walk them through how you got the answers. I was gonna end it at number 3, but I wanted to give you a bonus number 4, but this one, I don't want you to ignore. This is an encouragement for you because it comes up a lot as I talk to junior designers, and it's this. Own, appreciate, and leverage your background. Trust that there are transferable skills that's gonna matter in the design world. And your story from whatever job you were at before to now where you're looking for that design job, it all matters and it adds to your competitive advantage as a designer and it helps you stand out. And right now, every industry is looking for a designer, designers. So in my mind, it's not a matter of if you're gonna get the job, it's more a matter of when and if that job is gonna be right for you. So hang in there. I know that emotionally it can be really tough. I know what that feels like, but it's just a matter of time. Hey, if you like this video, consider checking out my video about my experience at General Assembly, and then my other video talking about the books that help me think and do design. And do consider subscribing because I'm gonna come out with more content like this to help you design better and be a better designer. I'll see you next time.